Good morning, everyone. So we have gathered here today to listen to one of our esteemed guest speakers today, Dr. AJIT ABHYANKAR. The Department of Economics and the Department of Political Science today has jointly organized this Polynomics event in which we have requested our guest speaker to give us a lecture session on the topic, a talk on political and social economic aspects of Union Budget 2023. I welcome our guest speaker, Dr. AJIT ABHYANKAR. We are really privileged to have you here with us today. And our students are, I'm sure, going to get some very informative and insightful inputs from your lecture. I would also welcome our guest, Mr. Pramod Zavade, CA from Pune. We are happy to have you here with us, sir. And our students, after your lecture session, would, if with your permission, would like to have some interactive session with you. So, and yeah, and with Mr. Pramod Zavade also. Yeah. So we will start the session now. May I request our Vice Principal, Dr. Baba Patil sir, to just say a few words.
आज पॉलिटिकल सायन्स आणि इकॉनॉमिक्स विभागातर्फे हा कार्यक्रम सादर होत आहे. या कार्यक्रमाला प्रमुख वक्ते म्हणून अभ्यंकर सर पुण्यावरून आलेले आहेत आणि त्यांच्याबरोबर त्यांचे मित्र गावडेचे जे चार्टर्ड अकाउंट आहेत ते आलेले आहेत. आज हा विषय ठेवण्याचं कारण असं की तुम्ही सगळे अर्थशास्त्राचे विद्यार्थी आहेत, राज्यशास्त्राचे विद्यार्थी आहेत, कॉमर्सचे असतील. आपल्याकडे दरवर्षी जे बजेट सादर केलं जात, या बजेटचा राज्यशास्त्राशी काय संबंध आहे किंवा राजकारणाशी काय संबंध आहे आणि त्यांचा तुमच्या आयुष्याशी काय संबंध आहे याचं सखोल विश्लेषण अभ्यंकर साहेब अगदी सोप्या भाषेमध्ये तुम्हाला करून देतील. अभ्यंकर साहेबांचं व्यक्तिमत्व हे अष्टपैलू व्यक्तिमत्व आहे. ते सुरुवातीला कॉमर्स फॅकल्टीला प्रोफेसर होते. 16 वर्षे त्यांनी सर्व्हिस केली आणि नंतर त्यांनी ती प्रोफेसरशिप सोडून दिली आणि नंतर सामाजिक कार्यात त्यांनी स्वतःला वावरून घेतलं. ते आजपर्यंत ते त्यांच्या अभ्यासातून असा एकही विषय सुटलेला नाही की ज्याच्यावरती ते आपले विचार, आपलं मत व्यक्त करू शकते. समाजशास्त्र आहे, अर्थशास्त्र आहे, राज्यशास्त्र आहे, फिलॉसॉफी आहे, शिक्षण आहे, असा एक जे बौद्ध तत्वज्ञान आहे, मार्क्सवादी तत्वज्ञान आहे, सगळ्या प्रकारच्या विषयावरती ते चांगले उत्तम असे वक्ते आहेत. आणि मी आशा व्यक्त करतो की ते जेव्हा बजेट आणि राजकारण यांचं काय घनिष्ठ नातं आहे या विषयावर आपलं मत व्यक्त करतील, त्यावेळी त्यांच्यातलं हे जे आहे म्हणजे त्यांच्यातला जो विचार आहे किंवा त्यांचं जे व्यक्तिमत्व आहे ते त्यांच्या विचारातून तुमच्यापर्यंत येऊन पोहोचलं. नक्कीच तुम्हाला त्यांचं व्याख्यान आवडेल अशी मी अपेक्षा व्यक्त करतो आणि माझे 2 शब्द संपवतो.
Thank you, Patil sir. May I now request my colleague, Mr. RAVIDAS GAVIT, to formally introduce our guest speaker, Dr. AJIT ABHYANKAR sir. We also welcome on behalf of the head of the Department of Economics, Dr. KIRAN JADHAV sir, who would be extending a vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
It is my privilege to introduce our today's esteemed guest speaker, Dr. AJIT ABHYANKAR sir. Dr. AJIT ABHYANKAR sir is MCom Pune University and MA in Sanskrit from Tilak Maharashtra University. He has served as a lecturer in commerce in the senior wing of Brihan Maharashtra College of Commerce, Pune from 1981 to 1997. He resigned from the services to be an activist of CPI, Communist Party of India Marxist, and Center of Indian Trade Union. He is now presently a visiting faculty in Symbiosis School of Liberal Arts, teaching courses in History of Capitalism, Introduction to Marxism, and Indian Policy. Apart from these, Indian philosophy. Apart from this, he is associated with the student movements since 1974. Worked as one of the founding full-time editorial team member of Working Class Daily in Marathi, Dainik Shramik Vichar. Joined CPIM in 1980, participated in all contemporary movements launched by the left and democratic forces, facing imprisonment many times for various terms for the same. He worked as the full-time literacy ambassador of the state of Maharashtra in the year 1990 to 91. Presently, Secretariat member of State Committee of CPIM Maharashtra and member of CPIM Pune District Committee of President CITU Pune. He is working trustee of Academy of Political Studies Pune. There has been regular participation on debates and discussion on various policy issues on TV channels. There are many more things to be shared with you all. We are really thankful to you, sir, for accepting our invitation on a very short notice of time. I now request our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Ajit Abhyankar, sir, to kindly share his thoughts with us. Thank you so much.
Hello, good morning everybody.
Good morning, sir.
Now, respected teachers, faculty members, Professor Patil, Professor KIRAN, Professor MITAL, Professor GAVIT, and my student friends, and of course my colleague, Mr. Prasad Zavre. I will introduce him first. He is a chartered accountant and he is my associate, my colleague in various social projects, and particularly in the rural areas we work together. And he is a dedicated social activist, I can tell you. And he is a practicing chartered accountant in Pune. Also practices in GST and income tax and other related matters. Okay, so I'm really privileged to have him as a paid free. क्योंकि हम दोनों अलग नहीं है, कभी मैं जाता हूँ कभी वो जाते हैं, but he was kind enough to offer his company to me in Mumbai in spite of his busy schedule. So I really thank him very much for his kind support. And of course now also thank the college, Professor GAVIT particularly was in touch with me for inviting me over here for a lecture. मला मराठी उत्तम येतं, मला हिंदी बऱ्यापैकी येतं आणि इंग्लिश साधारण येतं. So I will be trilingual or bilingual as it comes to me. Okay. So the duration of my lecture, as suggested by Professor MITAL, is 1 hour. I think it works with you. It works with you?
Yes,
So
yes.
it shouldn't happen that after 20-30 minutes एक गया दूसरा गया, कहाँ है कहाँ लोग एक दूसरे की तरफ देते उठे या बैठे. See, मैं बहुत स्टूडेंट्स के मतलब जिस कॉलेज में मैं पढ़ा उसी कॉलेज में मैं पढ़ाता नहीं था. मैं BMCC में I got my BCom degree, MCom degree from BMCC, and there only I started teaching. So my teachers became my colleagues, and those who were my friends, the student community, became, I don't say my victims, but you can say the other side of the table. So I'm used to all, so don't worry. Anyway, I hope I will be successful in retaining your interest. So the topic is budget. See, the budget is one entity, but it can be looked at from different perspectives. Like for example, there is an elephant. And suppose there are people who are visually challenged, and they are asked to describe what an elephant is. So they will touch the elephant, and of course they will describe elephant as according to what is perceived by them by their touch. So budget is probably like this. When the topic of budget is discussed on TV, where I appear many times, recently also I was in the TV debates. So many chartered accountants are called. Of course, he is an exception, of course, because he understands economics. But unfortunately, chartered accountants who don't understand macroeconomics and economic policy, they start discussing finance and they sell it as economics. Finance is not economics. Finance comes under economics, but finance is not economics. Well, they know the word macroeconomic, but they hardly know that budget is for the macroeconomic management. It reflects the political ideology of the budget maker. They are just oblivious to that fact. हे त्यांना तरी काही कल्पनाच नाही. ते फक्त 5 लाखाची लिमिट 7 लाख होणार का 10 लाख होणार, मध्यम वर्गाला काय दिलासा मिळणार, as if मध्यम वर्ग, how many people pay income tax? 1.5% end up in paying income tax, and of that some microscopic fraction is for this particular segment, and you go on discussing hours together whether as if it is a big problem or big policy issue before the country. I think let us discuss the real issues of the people, and that is what makes it political economy. Please remember, you are students of economics or students of politics, but I don't know how much you are aware about it. The subject which is called economics today was never called as economics, it was political economy. What Adam Smith wrote, what Ricardo wrote, what Malthus wrote, what Pigou wrote, what Marx wrote was political economy. It became economics in 20th century with Marshall. Okay, so the political aspect of it, that means the macro aspect of it, when the people are involved, cannot just be overlooked. Okay, and finance again is that so-called economics. Finance is a small part of it, and so this perspective or vision has to be broader, has to be multi-dimensional, it has to be holistic. Okay, so I would like to present some of the facts and some of the perspectives about the budget from this holistic point of view, taking a 360-degree view of the budget and not just limited perspective of finance and taxation for some small bracket, so-called middle class and all. Anyway, so first of all, what do you mean by political economy? I will just spend 2 minutes in that. See, polity, you mean the meaning of polity. You understand the meaning of polity. Polity is a kind of organized society which is governed by some government, some common say institution of governance, a common state. So they submit to some common state or one state which governs them. And that people, so people and the institution of state together become the polity. So that political, so this polity, the people and the state has to be looked at from a perspective, a realistic perspective. And the reality of the life is that the society is divided, society live in classes. समाजामध्ये वर्ग असतात. आता उदाहरणार्थ आपण म्हटलं की इन्कम टॅक्स 1.5% लोक, जास्तीत जास्त 2%, 6% लोक इन्कम, 6-7% लोक इन्कम टॅक्स रिटर्न्स भरतात. पण हाऊ मेनी एंड अप पेइंग इन्कम टॅक्स ऍक्च्युअली? व्हेरी लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ पीपल. आता उरलेले लोक सगळेच इन्कमच्या बाहेर असतात असं नाही. मेनी ऑफ दे इवेड द टॅक्सेस and some of them are just beyond, much below the income tax limit. त्याच्यामुळे so there are classes in the society. तो ऑक्सफॅम ने रिपोर्ट प्रकाशित केला. 1% of the people are controlling 40% of the wealth. So is this 1% not a different class? त्यांचा perspective, their priorities, would they, their agenda for the life, is it not going to be different? It is going to be different. धारावीमध्ये जे लोक राहतात किंवा कुठल्याही झोपडपट्टीमध्ये राहतात त्यांच्या समोरचा प्रश्न काय आहे? पाणी कसं मिळणार हा प्रश्न आहे. ड्रिंकिंग वॉटर, सेफ नेबरहुड, हा त्यांच्या समोरचा प्रश्न आहे. Those who live in any deep rural areas, where the availability of water and the roads and sanitation are the minimum basic problems, just as they are in the midst of high city like Mumbai also and Pune. So there are classes in society, and when you are sitting in a state in the position of governance, women for example, there are more than 50% of girls. So their problems, the gender outlook, which we will talk about, but when it comes to budget, we just become mute to it. We are just muted, we just close our eyes. Are gender issues addressed in the budget? There is something like gender budget. There is something like SC budget. There is something like ST budget. There is absolutely, people just get mute to it. So there are classes in the society, and they are based upon their economic and political power. Economic as well as political power and social position. So when we talk of budget, and when we talk of just finances, muting all these real issues of life, we are actually not even half blind, but even 3/4 we have already blinded ourselves. So let us get out of it. Let us get a vision. आता तुम्ही पॉलिटिक्स स्टुडंट्स आहात, तुम्ही प्लेटोची फिलॉसॉफी केली ना, केली आहे प्लेटो, allegory of cave केली का नाही? Allegory of cave in Plato's philosophy. You have done Plato केले ना. So what Plato says that when you see, when you don't see the world properly, you just see the shadows, and you call shadows as the real world, which is not the case. You call shadows as knowledge. Which is the real world is to be seen in the sunlight. So what I am trying to do is let us not see the shadows. Let us see the budget in the full bright sunlight. And that's what I am trying to do. I am not saying that I am the final word there. Again, you can see that your perspective is only X and Y. But why I am not considered Z? Yes, there can always be, and that's why Madam said that there should be interactive session. Yes, in fact, my method where I address even in public speeches, I say that you ask questions first, then I answer, and then you again ask questions. This is generally my style, but I thought there is a pact call, and let me not break the decorum as was organized by the organizers. Anyway, so there will be question answers, and you are most welcome to ask the questions, to shoot the questions, to grill me with the questions, and I welcome you to disagree with me. I would like the students who disagree with the reason and with open mind, of course, with open mind. But I don't want any unopinionated students. You should be opinionated, whatever be your opinions. You should be open to your opinions, be rational about your opinions. That's the only condition. Only two conditions are there. You should be rational and you should be open. These are the two conditions. Otherwise, you must have opinions. Without opinions, if you listen to anything, you are just like a table. You are furniture. You are not like humans. Have opinions, howsoever wrong they are. They can change, and they will keep on changing. Okay, now with this, how do we look at budget? As I said, how will it affect our lives? Our means whose? The different classes in society. We are taking kind of a neutral means relatively third position as students. We are just observing it. That these are the classes, and I am just observing them. Good enough. But still, we must not overlook the fact that this budget, or any budget, even if I make it, it will have some class bias. At any given point in time, there will be some class bias. The only question is whether the class bias will be appropriate to the call of the history, the call of our constitution. What is right? What is the measuring stick for us? The only measuring stick, you will say something, I will say something. The measuring stick for us is our beloved constitution. The directive principles of the constitution. You know the directive principles of the constitution. Yes. The fundamental rights in the constitution. Fundamental provisions of the constitution. The most, as far as the policies are concerned, the directive principles of the constitution. So, घटनेतली जी मार्गदर्शक तत्व आहेत, हे मार्गदर्शक तत्व हा आपला दीपस्तंभ आहे. It is a lighthouse for us. If we are lost in the ocean anywhere, we should see that lighthouse and frame and direct our policies accordingly. So that is the measuring rod. आपली फुटपट्टी ती असणार आहे. And with that फुटपट्टी we will measure. what is right and what is wrong. Otherwise, we will just pull the rope on one side or the other. Okay. So here's a sale. So what is the measure? The measure is the maximum employment, full employment, minimum inequality in the society, maximum security for all the people, social security. That means when they get old, they should get enough health care, food, clothing and shelter for everyone, and equal justice for all. Minimum, these are the minimum things which we can expect from budget. And this is as per the constitutional mandate. Now the constitutional mandate can be appreciated, can be studied by the students of politics, students of political science. वो तो आप जानते हैं, जानना पड़ेगा, नहीं जानना चाहिए कि what could not be included. Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar wanted to include all those directive principles as fundamental right. In fact, in the constitution, as you are students of political science, I will just mention this. You must be knowing this because Babasaheb Ambedkar was a person who understood political science, political ideologies and economics both very well, and the social aspect also. So he said in his constitution, in his dream, in 1946, he drafted one constitution for 47. He drafted the constitution of his own dream. First, remember, before our Indian constitution came, on behalf of Scheduled Caste Federation, he submitted that draft, his dream constitution, to the Constituent Assembly, and said that this is the constitution, in my opinion, should be. Of course, but Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar cannot have his own way. Of course, it's Constituent Assembly which will decide. He tries to push it, pull it as much as possible. उसमें क्या लिखा था उन्होंने? You should know this. He wrote there. Remember, this is what connects politics and economics. He wrote there the right of employment should be the fundamental right. He said that land should be nationalized. Now, why I am saying this? Because I just want to draw the students of politics to the subject of economics. So don't think that ये दूसरों का है. See, studying politics without clarity on economic issues is being blind. Is being blind to realities. You will say something and you are not aware of the resources and the production process and distribution, you will be blind. And if you are studying economics without knowing the political realities of life, you will be losing the direction only. So that should not happen. So if this is so, now what can we expect from the budget? I told you what we can expect. The direction. So budget should be considered as, I am using a pure economic term, a tool for macroeconomic management of the country. Macroeconomic management. It is like a steering wheel. It is like a steering wheel. On the steering wheel there is finance minister. Of course backed by the Council of Minister Prime Minister. They have the ideas. Now they cannot change the very design of the car. Steering wheel जो drive कर रहा है, he cannot change the design of car, but he can take you to the right or the wrong road. The design of the car, the system, the political system, the economic system cannot be changed by finance minister, obviously, and certainly not in 1 year. That is for sure. But what he or she can do or not do is to take you to the wrong or the right road. So that direction of the economy is given by the budget. So it's an opportunity. So this is, if we look at the budget from this perspective, now we can see what in this today's situation, what problem, what direction the budget must have, and then we will go to the actual budget. These are the preliminaries, the perspective. So आपण काय अपेक्षा करायची बजेट कडनं? तर आजचे जे आपले आर्थिक प्रश्न आहेत त्या प्रश्नापैकी कुठल्या प्रश्नाला सगळ्यात प्राधान्य आपल्या समोर असलं पाहिजे? तर एनीबडी वुड ऍग्री. आता तुम्ही ग्रॅज्युएट होणार, पुढे काय करणार तुम्ही? म्हणजे तुम्हाला अर्ज करणार, बरोबर ना? अर्ज करणार. पुढं काय होणार ते माहित नाही तुम्हाला, ते माहिती नाही तुम्हाला, तर मी तुम्हाला सांगतो ते तुम्हाला माहिती नाही. Till the age of 29, 63% of you are going to be unemployed. This is the statistics. This is the statistics of the country. 63% of the graduates under the age 29 are unemployed. 17% of all graduates are unemployed of any age. And the average age of India is 29. Remember. Okay. Good that we are a young country, but we are also unemployed country. And you girls are sitting here. I'm very happy to see you here in higher education. But remember, what happens to the girls after they graduate, or even if they don't graduate? The situation is the labor force participation rate. सुना है आपने economics के students ने कभी labor force participation rate? How many people actually participate in the as workers? Worker means not employed people. Maybe I am selling as a pathari wala on footpath, some sabji mein bech raha hu. Till we I am working. I am working in field. I am working. Our teachers, professors also fall in that category. Okay, all people included, even farmers, traders, factory owners, IS officers, all to the agricultural laborer. To, as I said, a pathari wala. Everybody is included in this broad category. Even if you make this category so broad, and even if you include the unemployed also in it, you know what is the proportion of women in this? This is called as labor force participation. Only 24% of women are in the labor force today, and it is going down and down and down. But they are not even seeking employment. They are just sitting home. Now, in my view, what budget has to address are these issues. Budget has to address inequality. Now, let's see what this budget does. Okay. I'm not saying that a budget can remove this inequality. Obviously not. It's not a magic wand, but it can take some steps in that direction. Okay. So this is economic problem. This is a social problem. If you are graduate and if you are not working and you don't get a job, it's a social problem, personal problem, family problem, and turn into psychological problem also, and can turn into a law and order problem also, because some of us can go to the wrong way also. There is a danger like that. Somebody can be used for wrong purposes also. Now, what is the strength, power of the government? Now let us come to the numbers. Having said this, see, government has tremendous economic power. Government is the only institution in the country which has the largest spending institution. Kitna government ka kharcha hai? Does anybody have any idea what is the number in proportion? How much government spends?
$48 billion.
lakh crore. Or probably you are right, because I have not made calculation, but yes. See, the government, in terms of GDP, if you say, the expenditure of the government in India is 16% of GDP. Okay. And government is the institution, the only institution which can decide its own income and expenditure. There is no other institution because it has a political power. Big corporate can be monopoly, but theoretically, it cannot decide what should be its income. Government can decide. And not only that, government can decide to put hand in your pocket and take money, because tax, you have to pay taxes. Okay, at least common people have to pay taxes, unless you are a great tax evader and still you are avoiding that. So this is the power of the government. So government spends this year budget is to spend 45 lakh crores of rupees, and the GDP, the projected GDP is 288 lakh crores. So it comes to around 15 point something. So I make it 16%. Okay. So this is the GDP, 288 lakh crores, of which 45 lakh crores are to be spent by the government. So government can do miracles. Government is like a, have you seen the film Jurassic Park? देखिए भी फिल्म, उसमें क्या होता है? If a dinosaur comes and is around, and see, I remember that shot in the film. Both of them are sitting in one restaurant in the Jurassic Park, and they don't know that the dinosaurs are free from their cages. They are just having some tea or some drink, and there is a glass in front of them, and the water starts having some shivers, some tremors. It's becoming like this. Why? Dinosaurs stepped. So government's expenditure or entry or exit from any sector is like the foot of the dinosaur. The moment it puts the feet, it makes a difference like this. It causes tremors, changes. It changes the price levels, it changes everything. Just because that government foot is there, because it's so big, so powerful, and so assertive. This is the power of the government. On this background, now we will see let's see the income side of it. Okay. Income side is taxes. In India, of course, it can be taxes or non-taxes also, but in India, non-tax revenue is relatively very less, so we can ignore it for a while. So tax income. So taxes are of two types, direct and indirect. So direct taxes are just named income tax. वेल्थ टैक्स है क्या इंडिया में अभी? नहीं है, अबॉलिश कर दिया. कॉर्पोरेट टैक्स and GST direct. So corporate tax, income tax, these are the two direct taxes, and wealth tax was abolished in 2016. Is this not a political decision? It was. This is political economy. This is political economy. Wealth tax, but the irony of the story is, wealth tax was never collected properly. Wealth tax का collection जब cancel किया, it was 1350 crores, मतलब 1350 crores, which could have been more than 1 lakh crores, and it been enforced. but कभी किया नहीं इसलिए तो cancel कर दिया. Both were political. Not to enforce it was also political by the previous governments, and to cancel it was also political. But the previous government ने क्या किया? They just saw to it that the parrot will not move, the parrot will not get food, the parrot will put to a condition where it is almost dead, but not actually kill it. The subsequent government formally signed the death certificate of it. But the previous government just put it on the deathbed, starved it absolutely, and the successive government just declared that it is dead. It's the same thing. The conclusion is the same. Okay. This is a political decision. So wealth tax is not there. So do you know what is the proportion of tax collection in India? Proportion, direct and indirect taxes. Any idea? Okay, I will give you. This is where you have to weigh the budget. This is what you have to look into the budget. The direct tax collection in India is about 5% of GDP, which is done only by the central government, because there are no direct taxes at the state level except the professional tax, which is absolutely negligible. And agricultural income tax is there, but it is not levied by any state. Practically not levied by any state. Okay, so 5% of GDP. Remaining 5%, 5.5 or 6% comes from 6.5, so almost 12% total is the tax collection of the central government. 11 point something, so make it 12. 12% of GDP, of which about 5% is direct tax. I am rounding off the figures. 5% and 6.5%. So If you, and what are the state tax collection? See, I'm just giving the numbers. You should have, when you talk of budget, you should have this tax structure and tax picture very clear before your eyes. The state tax collection comes to about 6% of GDP, all states put together. So total tax GDP ratio of India is 18%. Can somebody write on the board? This number should be. हे नंबर्स डोळ्यासमोर पाहिजेत आणि पेन आणि वहीचा वापर केला तरी काय बंदी नसेल मोस्ट प्रॉब्लेम आहे. इट्स नॉट बॅन्ड हियर ना टू यूज पेन and notebook. It is not banned, please use it. Okay. So 12% is the tax GDP ratio of the central government, 6%. State totals 18% of GDP. So do you know what is the tax GDP ratio of the developed countries? Now people say these days that we should emulate the developed nations. विकसित देशांची उदाहरणं आपण समोर ठेवली पाहिजे आणि त्यांच्या पद्धतीने जायला पाहिजे. परवा एका चर्चेमध्ये फिनान्स मिनिस्टर सुद्धा म्हणाल्या आणि अनेक डिस्कशन सुद्धा असे म्हणाले की we should follow the developed countries. But do you know what is the tax GDP ratio of developed countries, which are absolutely capitalist countries? If you take European Union, their tax GDP ratio is in the range of, can somebody imagine? 40%. 40%. कुछ देशों का और भी ज्यादा है उससे. If you take OECD countries, it is to the tune of approximately 33%. If you take US alone, it is in the range of 29-30%. And India 18%. और इसमें से 2/3 आता है इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेस. समझ गया? इसमें से 18% में अगर 5% अगर डायरेक्ट टैक्स है, इसका मतलब 2/3 comes from the direct two-thirds comes from the indirect taxes and 1/3 comes from the. So has this been changed in this budget? Absolutely not. Has there any improvement in the direct tax collection? No. On the contrary, the highest income bracket एक सांगितलेली होती, त्याचा टॅक्स रेट सांगितला होता हा 42% होता आणि इफेक्टिव्ह टॅक्स रेट तो त्यांनी आता तो सरचार्ज 42% होता, तो सरचार्ज त्यांनी 3% कमी केला, तो 39% केला. म्हणजे टॅक्स रिडक्शन फॉर द रिच. आणि 5 लाखाचं 7 लाख केली मर्यादा. काय म्हणते, तुमचं चांगलं केलं का वाईट केलं? 5, you know ना, 5 lakhs minimum taxable limit was raised from 5 to 7 lakhs. What do you think? It is a good or bad step?
Good for middle class.
Good for middle class. Yes. It is good. Look, say whatever you want to say. See, our income tax limits now starts with 3 lakhs actually. Actually starts with 3 lakhs, but up to 3 to 7 there is zero tax. From 7 onwards, you have to pay taxes, but if your income exceeds 7 lakhs, then you have to start paying taxes from 3 lakhs, that limit will be I think 5%. आता प्रश्न असा आहे की is this a middle class? Our average per capita GDP is 1.97 lakhs, about 2 lakhs. Average. where Ambani, Adani and a slum dweller चं उत्पन्न average out होणार divided by 2 होईल. म्हणजे it is not realistic, it is just averaged. Still it comes to about 2 lakhs. Okay, and sorry 1.7, not 2 lakhs, sorry 1.77 lakhs, sorry not 97, 1.77 lakhs, 1.77 lakhs, sorry. तो 7 lakhs ज्याचं उत्पन्न आहे is almost 4 times of average GDP. So can you call it middle class? At least I don't. For me, the person on the street, in the slum area, and toiling in the sun in the farms is the real poor person. So this class is not middle class, this is higher middle class, closer to the rich class. Maybe you and me fall in that category, but still let us face the truth. Let us face the truth. Let us not talk something which is convenient to us. Let us face the truth and talk the truth. Okay. Just because it suits us, I will say something that's not fair. Okay, that's not the right policy. When you are in the compartment, nobody else should come. And if you are on the platform, what kind of people are those that don't allow me to come in? Here nahi chalega. I have one policy. I have one policy. Correct? Okay. Now next. So is this? So first अपनी क्या थी? I said employment is the issue. दूसरा issue क्या है देश के सामने? It is about oncoming recession. Recession का issue है. US economy is likely to be in recession. The world is going to be in recession. Indian economy is likely to face the consequences. So recession is in the offing. दरवाजावरती उंबरठ्यावरती उभा आहे. मग तुम्ही मला सांगा स्टुडंट्स ऑफ इकॉनॉमिक्स केन्सची शपथ घेऊन सांगा केन्स सांगा की व्हाट शुड बी द गव्हर्नमेंट पॉलिसी इन केस ऑफ व्हेन यू सी द रिसेशन कमिंग और यू आर अमिड्स रिसेशन क्या करना चाहिए? Yes.
More focus on employment.
More focus on employment and to promote employment. More aggregate expenditure. So who makes that? Private corporates cannot do. Then who should make it? The government. So government should spend more, right? Now let's see what has happened here. See the expenditure of the government. The actual expenditure. Actual expenditure of the government in 22-23 was around 41.87 lakh crores. Make it 42 lakh crores. 42 lakh crores. आता this year किती सांगितलं मी तुम्हाला? 45 lakh crores. So 22-23 is 42 lakh crores. This year it is 45 lakh crores. म्हणजे किती वाढला? 3 lakhs. म्हणजे पर्सेंटेज मध्ये किती येईल? कळा? Okay. So how much will it come in percentage? 7 to 8% आएगा. What is the rate of inflation? 7%. So has it increased? Effectively, has it increased? It has not. So it becomes a contractionary budget. This budget, therefore, in terms of expenditure, the rise is only say 7%, and if the inflation is also going to be 7%, that means in real terms the expenditure is going to be the same, and therefore this budget, in terms of recession, is not responsive to the situation, and therefore, if it is not responsive to expansion of the economy, actually it is likely to help the contraction. That is, but at the same time, I will say one good thing about the budget, that the capital expenditure component of it is more. I should have preferred this expenditure of 45 lakhs to be taken to 55 lakh. पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे मैं बात करूँगा. That I owe that. मैं तो मैं कुछ भी बोल सकता हूँ. I should tell from where the money would come, but I will tell you in the end. So 45 lakh crores अगर होता था, and revenue expenditure भी बढ़ता था, बाकी capital expenditure 30% rise. They have 37% actually. In capital expenditure is a good thing. They are investing in infrastructure. I welcome that. But more than that, what is also required is to have more expenditure so that the people would have more purchasing power in their hands. This capital expenditure is not likely to result in more employment. It is because it is extremely capital intensive. It is extremely capital intensive, and the bad news is that it is going in the private hands. And what happens to the private corporates, I will not comment, it is very much in the news. कल ही मैंने इस अडानी के इशू पर एक फेसबुक लाइव किया 2 घंटे का, तो अभी वो मैं नहीं लाता हूँ पूरा इशू क्या है. So such the privatization issue, this is all product of privatization basically. So So privatization के साथ में अगर capital expenditure हो रहा है, it is not going to generate more employment. So anyway, but still I welcome that point. So next, first, this is not contractionary budget. Now let's come to employment. What has happened to employment in this budget? So government, for example, when US was in recession in 1930s to 34, what was done in US? आपको मालूम है? Roosevelt was the president. पहले कौन था अपना? हूवर के जगह में रूजवेल्ट है. What did Roosevelt do? Roosevelt brought New Deal. It is called as New Deal, and he started land armies. And it was said, like in a lighter way, not literally, give employment to the people, give money in their hands. If you don't get the public works done, म्हणजे त्यांच्याकडून धरणं बांधून घ्या, रस्ते बांधून घ्या, तलाव खणून घ्या, आणि जर काहीच काम करायला द्यायला नसेल तर एका ग्रुप कडून खड्डे खणून घ्या आणि दुसऱ्या ग्रुप कडून ते बुजवून घ्या. If at all you have no work to give them, do this, but give employment to the people and give money in their hands. आता मनरेगा ही आपली, what is मनरेगा? What is मनरेगा?
Rural Employment Guarantee.
Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Okay, मनरेगा. Now, what is the provision for this मनरेगा? In 22-23, the expenditure on मनरेगा was 84,000 crores. I am saying actual expenditure. मतलब 22-23 आता पूर्ण व्हायचं आहे, पण projected. मतलब till March end, it will be 84,000 crores. And the provision for the new budget, that is 23-24, is 60,000 crores. कम, कितना कम? 84 से 64,000. प्रसाद होता है इसको दोनों पालूं मैं. 3-4 आइटम्स. So it is reduced by almost 33%. आता फूड सबसिडी म्हणजे तुम्हाला माहिती आहे, स्वस्त धान्य देण्यासाठी दोन प्रकारे सबसिडी दिली जाते. फूड कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडियाला दिली जाते आणि पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्युशन सिस्टीमला दिली जाते. या दोन्ही जर प्रत्यक्ष आकडे हे करत नाही, कारण ते सांगण्यात लक्षात ठेवण्यात मिळते. देयर इज रिडक्शन ऑफ 32% in food subsidy. In fertilizer subsidy, there is reduction of 31%. If you take PM किसान योजना, आता लक्षात घ्या, लोकांच्या हातात पैसे नाहीत, शेतकरी आत्महत्या करतात वगैरे आपण सगळं ऐकतो. So they should have money in their hands. PM किसान योजना. आता finance minister herself said very proudly that last year or rather last 3 years we distributed 6,000 rupees to 11.4 crores of farmers. 6,000 rupees each. Pardon? 3 months ला एक 2,000 रुपये पाठवतात. 3 month नाही, 4 महिने. Actually 6,000. 6,000. त्यामुळे 4 महिन्याला पाठवतात. 4 months 2,000 rupees. So it comes to 6,000 rupees in a year. आता सिंपल गणित आहे. 11.4 crores into 6,000. Okay, it comes to 68,000. I mean rounding off. But what is the provision in the budget? It is only 60,000 crores. म्हणजे you say that you will give some money to the farmers. 6,000 rupees is nothing actually. But even if that is taken as correct, you don't provide even for that. So मनरेगा is less. Then agriculture and allied activities. Again, there is reduction of about there is reduction of about 20% in agriculture and allied activities expenditure. So you will find whatever items of expenditure are there which are going likely to give some income into the hands of the people or some employment generation is likely to happen, so that some development work happens and some income is generated, which goes into the hands of the people, and people spend it in the market, and then demand is generated, and then the employment is generated, the multiplier effect, that opportunity is lost. Okay, so this is one of the, what I would say, main problem of this. Then if you take the provision for education and health, you will find that education and health are the social sectors. They don't generate any income. It is not an economic activity of the government. So it is called as social sector because it builds up the social capital. Country becomes rich not by more income, but by investing in more human capital. But we find that in education and health, there is increase in expenditure, but that increase in expenditure is to the tune of 12 and 15%. Only 12 and 15% increase is there. Health मध्ये आपण काय अनुभवलं आता कोविड मध्ये? Public hospitals only could help, if at all. And what is the condition of public hospitals? Public hospitals are worse than abandoned railway platforms. No provisions, no grants, no staff, not even money for bandage and raw cotton. Cotton bandages also. What? No tests are conducted. Almost no tests are conducted. They ask you to conduct the test from outside. They ask you to bring medicine from outside. Everything is to be done from outside. There is building and there are some rooms. That's all. And even with this condition, the public hospitals did help in the corona period for the poor. The remaining hospitals, most of them, if not all of them, most of them saw it as an opportunity practically to loot the people. False bills, inflated bills, false prescriptions, everything, and वो तो ऐसे ही चलते जा रहा है. So you should have very staunch, very robust public distribution system. But what is the choice of the government? The choice of the government is not public health system. Sorry, I said public distribution. Public health system. So, but what is the choice of the government? The choice of the government is to go to the insurance model. See, this is the political choice. I told you that this is a political choice. Political choice. The political choice is this. आता अमेरिकेमध्ये काय आहे? प्रत्येक जण काय करतो? इन्शुरन्स घेतो, हेल्थ इन्शुरन्स. व्हॉट इज द आयडिया ऑफ हेल्थ इन्शुरन्स? असं कल्पना करा की आपण सगळेजण उघड्या मैदानावरती आहोत. ओपन ग्राउंड. Where there are no shades and trees नाहीत. And it is likely to rain. Or maybe some kind of snowfall is likely to happen. So what is the best way to protect the people? Is to build a shade. The best way is to give everyone a separate umbrella, the insurance umbrella. I will just open it for myself. You will open it for yourself. There will be maze of umbrellas. म्हणजे काय प्रत्येकाने insurance policy घ्यायची. This is sheer waste of social money. गव्हर्नमेंटने काय मॉडेल काढलेलं आहे की प्रत्येकाला काहीतरी एक प्रत्येक जनावरती सरकार पैसे देईल इन्शुरन्स पॉलिसी ते ऍडमिनिस्टर कोण करणार कुठली तरी इन्शुरन्स कंपनी करणार आणि इन्शुरन्स कंपनी करणार. द वर्स्ट मॉडेल, द रियल मॉडेल इज whosoever falls sick, nobody will go to a hospital just because he wants to be entertained in the hospital. पब्लिक कारण इन्शुरन्स केला तर खोटे क्लेम्स आले मग खरे क्लेमही नाकारले जाणार. I know many examples where true claims are denied and false claims are made. Is also practice. So there is a nexus. So there is an invitation for corruption. मग तिथे फार्मास्युटिकल कंपन्या आहेत, तिथे डॉक्टर्स येतात, हॉस्पिटल्स येतात, नेक्सस तयार होतं की तुम्ही सांगा की हे औषध पाहिजे, ते औषध आमच्या दुकानात घेतलं पाहिजे, त्या दुकानामध्ये त्या सप्लायची किंमत 50 रुपये असेल when the legitimate price is 5 rupees, but you will have to buy it. Then you will get inflated bill, then the insurance company will give it, and you cannot survive unless you have an insurance policy. So first you have heart attack, and then the patient's relatives have another heart attack. ही आजची कंडिशन आहे. most of the people are put under poverty line because of the medical bills. तुम्ही बघा तुमच्या कुटुंबामध्ये आजूबाजूला because of exorbitant medical bills, everybody becomes sick. The whole family gets sick. At least the person who dies finally goes away from this mess. And इतर लोक they are indebted heavily to the nose they are indebted. इथपर्यंत पाणी जातं. काय करणार? हा अनुभव आहे. तुम्ही मध्यमवर्गाने असेल, उच्च मध्यमवर्गाने असेल तर तुमच्या घरात काम करणारी बाई असेल, तिला विचारा. तुम्ही जर मध्यमवर्गाने तुमचे कोणी नातेवाईकांचा अनुभव असेल, इट्स हॉरिबल थिंग. सो व्हॉट वी नीड इज पब्लिक हेल्थ, बट दॅट इज नॉट हॅपनिंग. So this is a political choice. We are promoting insurance companies. We are promoting private hospitals. We are promoting the nexus between doctors, hospitals and pharmaceutical companies. And we are just ignoring the public health system. So, in conclusion, now question answer आपण भेटलो. आणि सर पण टॅक्सेशनचे प्रश्न असतील तर त्याचे उत्तर देतील. Because he is expert in that. तर, in conclusion, what I would like to say is, what should be done? What is the way out? What should be the priority? In my view, what budget should have done is to give top priority and should have announced an employment guarantee scheme for all means everyone, including educated, uneducated, rural or urban. याचा अर्थ असा नाही you all will go and they will be given employment by the government. No, no need for that. This is guarantee for 200 days, where you will get wages at the rate of 600 rupees. And what work you will do? आता समज घ्या तुम्ही आता इकॉनॉमिक्स पॉलिटिक्सचे ग्रॅज्युएट व्हा. मग आता तुम्हाला मी काय मग खड्डे खणायची कामं द्यायची का रस्ता करायची कामं द्यायची, बरोबर याचा प्रश्न येईल. तर त्याची गरज नाही, म्हणजे ते करण्यात काही वाईट असं मला म्हणणं नाहीये, ते करायला काहीच हरकत नाही. परंतु तेही करण्याची गरज आहे नाही, कारण बिकॉज देयर इज लॉट ऑफ डेफिसिट इन द डेव्हलपमेंट एजेंडा वेअर एज्युकेटेड लेबर और एज्युकेटेड वर्कफोर्स इज रिक्वायर्ड. ट्रिमेंडस गॅप आहे. मी तुम्हाला एका अभ्यासाचा उल्लेख करतो. दोज हू आर इंटरेस्टेड टू रीड इन दॅट. इकॉनॉमिक्सचे स्टुडंट असाल तर नक्की तुम्ही ते वाचा आणि तुमच्या सरांना पण सांगतो तुम्ही ते हा अभ्यास करून घ्या मुलांकडनं. स्टेट ऑफ वर्क इन इंडिया, अजीम प्रेमजी युनिव्हर्सिटी फ्रॉम बँगलोर यांनी एक वंडरफुल 3 वर्ष अहवाल प्रकाशित केलेले आहेत. स्टेट ऑफ वर्क इन इंडिया फ्रॉम 2018 they are publishing these reports where they have shown with numbers what kind of work can be given to the educated unemployed in India under the employment guarantee scheme. So 1000 प्रकारचे सर्वे आहेत, 1000 प्रकारचे रीच आउट प्रोग्राम्स आहेत, 1000 प्रकारचे ऑर्गनायझिंग वर्क. उदाहरणार्थ फार्मर्स, आता एक सोपं उदाहरण सांगतो. फार्मर्सचा प्रोड्यूस त्यांना भाव मिळत नाही. सो देयर शुड बी फार्मर प्रोड्युसर कंपनीज टू बी फॉर्म. कोण करणार आहे? That work can be done by the educated people in that area. मुंबईत जायची गरज नाही, तिथले लोक करतील, पण तिथे they should be given this task, कारण त्यांच्या एज्युकेशनचा तिथे उपयोग आहे. आता तुमचं पीक विम्याची योजना आहे, क्रॉप इन्शुरन्स, प्रचंड गॅप आहे, छोटेपणा पण आहे आणि या खासगीकरण केल्यामुळे त्याच्यामध्ये प्रचंड मोठ्या प्रमाणामध्ये शेतकऱ्यांना विकून त्याची पण एक वृत्ती आहे. This gap can be bridged by the educated people who can be put to that work. तिथे तुमच्या लोकांचा उपयोग, तिथे स्लम्स आहेत किंवा आपल्या सगळ्याच्या वस्ती आहेत, तिथे खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणात सर्वेइंग, एज्युकेशन, कम्युनिकेशनची गरज आहे, डेव्हलपमेंट अजेंडा कनेक्ट करण्यासाठी. सो देयर इज ट्रिमेंडस स्कोप फॉर द एम्प्लॉयमेंट ऑफ द एज्युकेटेड यूथ. सो सच अ स्कीम इफ अनाउन्स, त्याला किती खर्च येईल मी 1-2 मिनिटात फक्त सांगतो. त्याचा वर्कआउट केलेला आहे, रिटन अ बुक ऑन दॅट ऑल्सो. आणि कशासाठी सांगतो, आय एम नॉट टॉकिंग जस्ट बिकॉज आय एम स्टँडिंग ऑन दिस डायस and it is convenient to say anything. No, sorry. I talk with numbers. Talk with numbers and the probability and the potential. 5 लाख कोटी रुपयाचा खर्च येईल त्याला. 5 lakh crores per year. The annual expenditure of the government is 45 lakh crores. So what I am asking for is how much rise? 1/9, which is about 10% rise, 11% rise in the new 11% राईज पैसे कुठून आणायचे? माझी सूचना अशी, माझं मत असेल, त्याच्यावर मत व्यक्त करा. हा जो वेल्थ टॅक्स जो रद्द केला, इट शुड बी रिवॅम्प्ड अँड रिएस्टॅब्लिश्ड. वेल्थ टॅक्स मधून प्रॉपर एन्फोर्समेंट ऑफ वेल्थ टॅक्स. वेल्थ टॅक्स कसा होता, काय होतं मी सांगू शकतो, पण आता तुम्हाला कॉमर्सच्या डिसिप्लिन मध्ये घेऊन जावं लागेल, ते नाही घेऊन जात होता, कारण आम्ही दोघं जण कॉमर्सचे आहे. तर 1 लाख कोटी रुपये वेल्थ टॅक्स मधून वसूल होऊ शकतात. बरं, आता तुम्हाला माहिती आहे, यू नो देयर इज लॉट ऑफ सट्टेबाजी, स्पेक्युलेटिव्ह ऍक्टिव्हिटी हॅपनिंग ऑन स्टॉक मार्केट. सेन्सेक्स 63,000 म्हणजे काय? सेन्सेक्स 63,000 म्हणजे काय? मला सांगा बघू कोणते. व्हॉट इज मेंट बाय सेन्सेक्स? सो स्टॉक मार्केट वरती जे स्पेक्युलेटिव्ह ऍक्टिव्हिटी आहे त्याच्यावरती एक टॅक्स लावला जाऊ शकतो, विच इज ऑलरेडी देअर, विच इज कॉल्ड एज सिक्युरिटी ट्रान्झॅक्शन टॅक्स, विच इज व्हेरी मार्जिनल, व्हेरी निग्लिजिबल. तो वाढवला जाऊ शकतो. सो यू कॅन कलेक्ट 1 लाख रुपीज मोर फ्रॉम दॅट. अरे वा, वंडरफुल. इट्स व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट. सो दॅट कॅन बी इन्क्रीज्ड. आणि एक्सेसिव्ह स्पेक्युलेशन आहे, एक्सेसिव्ह स्पेक्युलेशनची काही गरज नाही. वाय इट इज एक्सेसिव्ह आय कॅन प्रूव्ह इट, पण आता वेळ लागेल प्रूव्ह करायला. 1 लाख कोटी रुपये आपण मिळवू शकतो त्याच्यातून. ब्लॅक मनी स्टॅश्ड इन दिस टॅक्स हेवन्स लाईक मॉरिशस, केमन आयलँड्स, UAE. आपलाच पैसा आहे भारतीयांचा, टॅक्स गेटेड इन्कम. हे आता निवडणुकीच्या प्रकरणामध्ये दॅट इज ॲट द फलक्रम तो आहे त्याचा. इफ दॅट सोर्स, those sources are tapped, you can collect again 1.5 lakh crores of rupees from that, and 50,000 from the increased professional tax. असे पद्धतीने you can make it 5 lakh crores. as a detailed आपण बोलू शकतो. So if this is done, you can announce a program for 2 crores of people. त्यांना एम्प्लॉयमेंट द्यावी लागेल, सगळ्यांना द्यावी लागेल. 2 crores of people ला एम्प्लॉयमेंट द्यावी लागेल. This is what I expected from the budget, and I think that opportunity is lost. So with this, I would say, while welcoming the good part of it, that is increasing the capital expenditure, while welcoming that, I wish that this budget could have been different. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please.
People, please, if you have any questions, you can ask. Please don't make noise. If you have any question, you can ask it to the sir, please.
Cryptocurrency.
T-by, please.
See, there is a question about cryptocurrency, but what is your question? Exactly, the tax on cryptocurrency. See, for that cryptocurrency will have to be legalized. So we have not legalized it, and my opinion it should not be legalized. Because cryptocurrency is a parallel currency, and it is completely shrouded in secrecy. The receivers and the payers and the makers. So no system of governance can go to the root of that income. And if you even try to tax it, it will cease its secrecy. त्याच्यामध्ये टॅक्स करणं ते शक्य नाही. ते करायचा प्रयत्न केला तर तुम्हाला लिगलाइज करायला लागेल. And legalizing a blatantly secret kind of income, maintaining its secrecy, is against the very idea of governance. And a country like India, and for example, not only country like India, any country, these secret incomes and secret expenditures should not be encouraged. This is my firm opinion. So cryptocurrencies, there is no question of taxing, it should be banned. They are not actually banned. Today they are not banned. but they are not recognized by the institutions. You can't claim anything. Anything wrong goes, it's your problem. Yes, any other question? Yes.
सर इन्होंने साइंस के लिए कुछ ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं किया, मींस जो इसरो को लोग 30% देते थे इन्होंने डिक्रीज किया।
एक्चुअली इसरो का आइटम मैंने देखा नहीं है, बट हो सकता है। मैंने इसरो का पर्टिकुलर आइटम आई नॉट सीन इट। Yes, any more questions? Okay, thank you.
I am sure you must be having questions in your mind because I have seen all the people listening very carefully and grasping all the insights from sir. So if you have any question in your mind, don't hesitate to ask. Sir is here to answer your questions.
सर UAE सर्वे कंट्रीने अडॉप्ट केलं क्रिप्टोकरन्सी ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नॉलॉजी पूर्णपणे, मग इंडियात काय होऊ शकतं? इंडियात काय असं म्हणजे एकदम एक्सट्रीमिस्ट दिसायला झाली पाहिजे?
Yes.
It's a good question. See, countries like UAE, you know what is the nature of UAE? UAE is also a tax haven. Tax haven, समझते हो? Tax haven is a jurisdiction, maybe a country or maybe a city, or maybe a territory, cluster of cities, कुछ भी हो सकता है, wherein the tax laws are extremely lax. मतलब practically tax laws है मतलब 1%, 2%, where for example we tax 30% corporate tax. In tax havens, the rates of corporate tax can be 1%, 2%, and in many of the cases 0% also. There, the secrecy is about the information about the registration of companies. For example, if I register a company in India, you can go to all registrar of companies office or online. You can approach the registrar of companies and ask for the particulars of any company, that is shareholders, directors, कुछ भी हो. You can get the balance sheet. You can get even profit and loss account if it is a public company. In these tax havens, no such information is publicly available to anyone, even to our governments. When if our governments approach UAE and such tax havens, he give us information about so and so company which is registered in your location. Give us the particulars of its shareholders, directors, or balance sheet, finances. No, just not possible. So UAE is a tax haven. So the tax havens, they collect the money from the world like this, and they make some small charges of just, it's like a pipeline के यहाँ बाजू में बैठे हो, पैसा यहाँ से आता है, यहाँ से आता है, I'm just getting some small fraction of it, but the volume is so much. तो UAE का पैसा जो है मतलब दुबई and all this, so this is not कि वो पेट्रोल का पैसा है, क्रूड का पैसा, it's very fraction of it. Real money is this. Now India cannot be a tax haven. वहाँ क्रिप्टो करेंसी लीगलाइज करना मुमकिन है और उनके लिए ठीक भी है, क्योंकि they want to manage their economy. The model that they have chosen is this. So it's not a good model for India. There will be a chaos. What will happen is all black transactions, all semi-legal transactions, they will get absolutely what I would say full protection. उनका मतलब उनका पहुंच भी नहीं सकता. आज कम से कम you can trace them in the bank. और तो बाद में तो तुम बैंक में भी ट्रेस नहीं कर सकते. So that is not a good thing. It will be very bad for the people of India. It will be good for very small section of the society, but not good for 99.99%.
this wonderful session by Dr. Ajit Abhyankar sir. I'm here to propose a formal vote of thanks on behalf of Bharti Vidya Bhavan Sazarimul Somani College of Arts and Science, Manubhai Maniklas Shet Junior College of Arts and Science, and Jairam Das Patel College of Commerce and Management Studies, and also the POLINOMICS, the organizer of this event. Extend my heartfelt gratitude towards all the people who have made this event very successful. First of all, I am really thankful to our principal, Dr. Shantas Deshmukh sir, for providing all the facilities, being so cooperative, and also making this event a successful one. I am also thankful to our Vice Principal, Dr. Baba Patel sir, for being generous and making this room available, and also being present here and giving us all the all types of assistance. I am really very grateful to Ajit Abhyankar sir for accepting our invitation. In fact, being as a professor of economics, I can tell you directly. Now I have understood why exactly this economics, which I am teaching for more than 13 years, was not actually is not economics itself. It was a political economy. It was really wonderful talk I could hear from him. I'm really thankful to you, sir, for sharing your valuable thoughts and giving a wonderful talk and your insights on the budget 2023. So we have a very clear idea what exactly what government has done and what exactly are there. Everything is there in the budget. So now if there is any news or anything in the newspaper or wherever anybody is talking on the budget, you will have a clear idea what we can connect with anything. Okay. So we are really grateful to you, sir. I am also thankful to Mr. Prasad Dhave sir for coming and helping us to conduct this session. The head of the political department, Dr. PRIYA madam, for providing us this opportunity to conduct a wonderful session on polynomics. And I propose this now. In future also we will be together. The department will be having great events, many events, and we are going to formalize this association in the future. I'm really thankful to her. I'm also thankful to all the volunteers, especially JADHAV, who has helped us taking painstaking efforts for organizing this event. Vinit is also here, and many other students who have helped in the conduct of this event. Present here for being a very good listener and taking interest. Yes. And least not the most prominent effort taken by our professor GAVIT sir. This event is idea of this, and colleagues being touch with sir and organization, everything is basically from his own. So I am really grateful and thankful to Ravi sir. And you all people for being a good listener, being present here, really thankful.